Welcome again to the KBL podcast, which I might change the name because I haven't done any podcasts yet, but I was planning to, but I find the walking talks a lot easier. So welcome again. Today it's beautiful. I mean, look at that countryside, nice and green crops. Look at the river, nice and clear. I mean, there's no shopping trolleys in sight, which is a great thing, and just how it should be. So I was just thinking on my way up here. I was just thinking some of the memories I had in the past, like growing up, and I used to love this country. I still do in a way. I don't love the politics. I'm not into the football anymore. I watch it if it's on in the pub, maybe, but I don't go out my way to watch it. It's just bread and services, and I don't like the England team. It's just changed radically. They used to play football and try hard, but now it's all political. It's all agendas being pushed, whether they're wearing their rainbow armbands or getting down on their knees. I just lost interest in it. And the biggest thing, like I said in an older video, was basically, it looked to me like they just basically went into the final of the European Championships, which was supposed to be in 2020, but got delayed till 2021 because of the scamdemic. So basically, I don't know if you can remember, but basically they had a good chance of winning that game, and then they come out in the second half and they just caved in. I don't know, I suppose you could say they did. They just was playing crap, and it's like they gave the game away. And to me, it just looked like, is there something to it? I mean, every time England get in a final, it's the same thing. Everybody gets behind them. The whole country wishes them all the luck in the world, and then they just basically continue to let us down. But anyway, let's put that to one side. Forget about that for the moment. So I used to have good memories of walking around the cliffs of Dover in Kent. There's loads of lovely walks you could go on, and there are always bunkers from World War II you could go in. They'd probably be sealed off now. And then I remember my time in Somerset. It's a beautiful county as well, and there's some wonderful places. Like when you go on the bus, you see some amazing places. And then we used to go to Watersmeet, my school was by Minehead, which is on the Devon-Somerset border, and it's just wonderful. Like you go there, and it's like boiling hot during the summer, and it's such a nice landscape. It's just fields, long country walks, and now England's horrible in a lot of places. Like you go to town, they all look the same. They all got the usual crappy shops, and it's just full of Turkish barber shops now, and vaping shops, and bloody charity shops, and Tesco's and Asda and Sainsbury's, and all the other supermarkets. They've taken the butchers away. They've taken all the florists, the fishmongers, and news agents away. And I so dislike that. I like going into the butchers because I know I'm getting quality meat. When I go into any supermarket, I don't know what I'm getting. It's normally really poor quality, unless you buy the better stuff. You can get the Tesco's finest, but I just refuse to shop in Tesco's because I hate a company trying to blackmail me to use a club card. I don't want to use it. I don't care. I don't need it anymore. Like, sometimes you get a saving, but sometimes it's a big con because the savings not even that great. And I just can't be doing with these supermarkets most of the time. It's like self-service, charging you for bags, treating you like a criminal, and you've got to scan your receipt to get out. Like I was in Liverpool last month, just for a few days, and I went to Lidl, and nobody on the tills, and I had a few drinks, and I didn't want to go else. Well, I didn't know where else to go really. I know it's a Howley, but I just wanted to get my shopping, and so I lined up, done the self-service against my wishes, but I've done it, and then go out, and there's a barrier, and I had to really hold it in because I really wanted to kick that barrier open, because I was just so angry and I hate being treated like that. So I thought, never again am I going in that little, and the one in Bristol city centre, they have about 12 or 15 self-service checkouts, and they're always closing the till. Well, most of the tills are closed most of the day, it's only the self-service, and I just got fed up with it. And even when the self-service is open, there's still massive queues because they built all this student accommodation there, and there's like thousands of more people than there used to be. And yeah, that's the cities, and you don't get that in the smaller towns. You get better customer service, you get more politeness, you get more back basically. Like if you go to your butcher's, you buy some meat off him or her, and they might throw in some freebies. You go in Tesco or Sainsbury's, you won't get nothing for free. You might get a reduced price because they blackmail you to give them your data so they can use it to make more money out of you, and then they might give you a few pence off. But they get the food a lot cheaper anyway, because they own a lot of the companies. They own basically they own the middle people, because even if they don't technically own them, these suppliers, the middlemen, are forced to accommodate the big supermarkets anyway, so they get their own way most of the time. So yeah, they've got that. And yeah, just a lot of towns and cities all look the same. And I was thinking before, like when you stay in a city, all you got is basically loads of houses, obviously, yeah, but then you've got a Tesco on every corner. But do you need a Tesco on every corner? Do you need a Sainsbury's on every corner? I mean, are we that lazy to walk 20 minutes to a supermarket? Or what? I know I'm just slagging off the supermarkets, but I'm not suggesting people should use supermarkets, but at least do some proper shopping. What's the point of going in a little shop all the time? And then they charge you more for it as well, so you get the convenience, but then they charge you a higher premium for using it. So yeah, that's just the supermarkets. But you get all the traffic as well, and you get all the noise. See, like if you're living out here, what are you gonna hear at night? Some foxes, maybe chickens. You know, you're not gonna hear drunk people. You're not gonna hear cars bombing up and down. And England now is just a state. It's like I've watched a video about Liverpool the other day, and I've only been to the city centre, so I don't know the whole city. But it's just basically rubbish everywhere, and it's like that in Birmingham, and all the cities getting worse. Like Sheffield's got a lot of crime now, Nottingham, Bristol, Bradford's supposed to be the worst city now, and then you've got London's still got a lot of crime, and a lot of towns are smaller cities as well, like Peterborough, Luton, they're just big dumps. So many places, but yeah, I just feel like, is England worth fighting for? Like, if there was a war, what would be the point of fighting for this country? Well, you wouldn't even be fighting for this country. I have to knock that nail on the head, because that's basically a big con. Because you're not fighting for this country, nobody's attacking it. It's like even World War II, there was no bombs dropped on this country until 3 months of the RAF bombing Germany. They set up Bomber Command in 1936, 3 years before the war even started. And what was it, something like 600,000 Germans died from the bombing, and in one night they bombed I can't remember, it was one city or a few cities, and 45,000 people died in one night in Germany. And in the Blitz, I think in total there's 60,000 deaths. That's another thing they leave out the history books. They don't tell you all this, do they? They don't tell you a war could have been avoided so many times. That Churchill, being blood hungry, with his lust for blood, he wanted war. He sold out. He was a warmonger. He went right out of his way to make these wars happen. But yeah, the writing's on the wall now, like I said in the last video. It's nice in places like this, but you still got the terrible NHS, you still got the terrible GP surgeries, the schools who think they own the children, but really it's the parents are the guardians of the children, not the school. The school's supposed to educate them, but what is education now? They're basically too busy trying to tell them there's 140 odd genders. And yeah, I'm not against people believing what they want or living how they want, but you can't force this onto everyone. It doesn't matter how loud you scream or shout, you know, you can't force your ideology on other people. And with schools, they're just lining up kids to go to work. They're not preparing them for the world in the way they should be. It's like things are going to get much worse yet, and there's going to be more poverty, there's going to be more crime. It's just all the standards are going to go way down. So kids of today, they need to be prepared for this, but many are not. There's many kids that can't do stuff, they don't know how to do the basics, they can't even count change up. The amount of times I've gone into a shop and handed over change, and then they spend ages trying to work out what coin is which and how much the value is. They just lose these basic skills, you know. And now they're using AI, so they're going to get even more dumber. So that's going to take all the creativity away. And then what are they going to be able to do without an aid of AI or Google? And they might actually need these real life skills in the future, because say if everything crashed and there's no AI and there's no technology, how would they survive? Because some people even think like the burgers they're getting in the supermarket are already like that. They don't realise the process, or they don't understand like it's a starting point. It's not just everything is pre-made and pre-prepared. Well, they are pre-prepared, shall I say, in a factory. But yeah, they've got no idea, and they haven't got no foundations, because they don't even know the basic thing. What is a man and what is a woman? So if you don't know things like that, how are you going to make it in the real life? You know, it doesn't matter who these controllers want you to believe, it isn't the truth. Now, they've been trying to do this for a very long time. They've tricked people. It's like even history's a big lie, isn't it? It's rubbish about dinosaurs. You go in any museum, yeah? Ask them where are the real bones, and they'll make up some excuse. They're never real bones. You can look at them. They're like really light white in colour, and if there is like a million, thousands of years old or millions of years old even, they wouldn't even be in that condition, would they? And I just don't believe all of it. I just think it's nonsense. They based the dinosaurs off lizards and reptiles, and then they wanted to give us that false narrative to lower our IQs and make us believe in something which is complete bullshit, to waste our time, to make us naive of what's really going on. And the same with evolution. If we did come from monkeys, then why do we still have monkeys? Wouldn't they just all cease to exist? But then you've got the theory that this took millions of years to happen. No, it just took the 1800s, the controllers, to come up with this theory. There's no folklore of any dinosaurs, no folklore of any evolutional stories. And then they're coming out with this nonsense that European cavemen were actually dark-skinned people. It's like, come on, stop with this bollocks. It's just nonsense. And in a sense that could be true as well, but not dark skin African people, but it could be from suntan, you know. Who knows? They distort everything, so it's hard to know what is actually real and what is not, and that's what they want. So we don't want to fall into that trap either. Yeah, I don't know. So many things to explain. But they do try and misguide us and misdirect us all the time, so we just got to keep on the same path. Get sucked into all this nonsense. Like, the people argue over so many things. It's like they post things on Facebook purposely just to take up people's time and to do the divide and conquer. So you've got to be careful with that. I mean, it's good to have discussion, but sometimes it's just better to leave it, because you're not getting through to people. Some people are just going to keep arguing and they go all NPC. Don't matter what things you point out, they always make excuses, or they choose to ignore the reality and just carry on following the narrative. And their indoctrination, they receive their education centre, their indoctrination centre. Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, good news with J.K. Rowling. She won a court case. I think the case was basically to determine what a female was, a woman, should I say, and she won it. So that's good for common sense and for women everywhere around the world, because it's not just the UK. I mean, everywhere else would be looking at it as well. So that's a good thing. So yeah. So yeah, there'll still be like loads of battles to fight though. There's still a lot of non-women, how do they say? Well, they say they are women, but I'm not against anyone who's trans or anybody who wants to be called by another gender. But at the end of the day, female sport should be only any females taking part in that sport. Should only be, yeah, all female sport basically should be biological females only. If a trans woman or trans man want to go into a male dominated sport or female dominated, well, not even, it's the wrong word. If a trans man or trans woman want to enter into a sport where biologically it's 99% men and 99% women. So when we have competitions for men and women because they're built differently, and basically to make it more fairer. So a male majority of the time will be stronger than a female, and they both got their pros and cons, and they both got their part to play in the world. Obviously the woman, the female being the mother, the birth giver, the man being the protector, and they work together in sync. And okay, you can disagree with that, that's fair enough, that's your opinion, this is my opinion, and that's the natural order, yes? And you may disagree with that, fair enough. Okay, so just looking at, not so much biology, but just looking at physique. So a woman will be less physically strong than a man. So even a trans woman, even if they take their medication and they push down their but they still have the bone structure of a man, they still have the physique of a man, because there's only so much it will do to reduce their biology, what you call it, chemistry, and their mass will still be there. So the females will get an unfair disadvantage, because the trans woman would be physically stronger, taller, bigger, stronger, and make it easier for them to win the competitions. Oh yeah, in the USA, in about 2 weeks time, no, 3 weeks time, so May the 7th, anybody who's a US citizen who want, and I think it's probably, I don't know if it extends to residents, probably does, but anybody who wants to fly on any planes and go into any government buildings will need a real ID. So this is biometric ID, so they'll be able to go into the airport with no ticket, no passport, and also this real ID can have your driving license on there as well. So this is all supposed to be stopped, by the way, because you've got people like Donald Trump, who's supposed to be the saviour, but it's still going ahead. The same as the phasing out of cheques. So by 2030 in America there will be no paper cheques anymore. So you've got real ID, cashless society come in, and also Trump wanted to build 10 or more smart cities. So I've not heard no more about that for a while, and basically a lot of promises he made not happened. So yeah, these Epstein files basically is all blacked out, so you can't even see anything in there, so you're none the wiser. Also in the EU they plan to release the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, in October, and along with the EU ID. So basically they'll be able to know everything you spend your money on, because it'll come up on your CBDC, and then it'll be linked to your digital ID. So anything you buy will be recorded and stored, and then it'll be linked to other facilities as well. So yeah, it's all tracking mechanism, it's all to control you, all to restrict your movements, all to restrict your freedoms, the same as real ID in America. The UK as well released the e-visa system this year, so all permits, resident permits, basically have gone digital now, so they will not be issuing out any physical cards. They've delayed it a couple of times because the system wasn't good enough and it wasn't up together. Also they have an ETA now in the UK, so people, I think it started off in the Middle East and it's been expanded. Supposed to include the EU and America soon. Can't remember what month that is. But yeah, and go back to the EU, they also have the EITAS, which is an electronic travel authorization system, which has been delayed. I think that might be possibly the end of this year or next year. So all these digital systems are being put in place, ready for the technocratic system, so everyone can be controlled by the technocrats, which originally was the scientists and engineers, but I think it's all going to be the private-public partnership. So basically companies running the government, like as they do now, really, innit? Because basically most politicians are bought and paid for. They don't do it. A majority of them don't do this job honestly. They're not there to make changes. A lot of them are just in there for the money. Some of them are career politicians and they just want to make a living out of it. Some use it to actually change things, because there's a lot of bankers as well. So I think they're in there just basically not for financial reasons. Well, it could be, I mean, but not directly from the government. They'll probably go into government to change things to make it easier for their friends in the cabal or their masters, and then they get rewarded in one way or another. Like Tony Blair, he got the UK into war with America against Iraq, and then he gets a paycheck off JP Morgan, which is $6 million a year as a thank you, I would believe. And there's all these kickbacks, especially in the council. They start up these companies, and then people in the council will be directors of that company, so they get their kickbacks. But like, a lot of things are companies, like the councils are companies. Look on the Companies House or Dunn and Bradshaw. You'll be able to find loads of councils in this country are registered as businesses, and basically they are lying to the people, pretending they're the local authority and they are just a council. But the NHS is a business. Most schools are businesses, and I believe the fines, when they fine the parents, is probably because when the child's out of that school, they're not getting paid for it. So they fine the parents to get some money back. Because if the child is not in education for a week or two, then they won't be able to claim that money off the government, I believe. And that's probably why they give the fines to the parents, so they don't lose their money. And with the GP surgeries, every time they give medication out, or they do a blood test, they're probably claiming, well, I'm pretty sure they're claiming that money back off the government. So that's why you have all these different numbers associated with your with the services you use. So if your NHS number is probably the bank account, or the account number what they charge back to the government to get their money for giving you the service. And then the government don't pay for anything, because it's the people who pay for the government. The government doesn't make any money. It's only the taxpayers, and they don't really need us because they've got control. They've got the bonds. They can produce their own funding, but it's just a control mechanism. It's like the Bank of England. They can keep printing money. They don't really need our money. But what happens is Bank of England borrows money to the government, and the government pays it back, and they make money on top of it. So when they say like the USA or the UK is in massive debt, really the debt is owed to the central bank. So they charge that back to the government and they make money on it. That's why there's so many wars, because there's so much money to be made on these wars. They lend them the money for the weapons, the tanks, the guns, everything else in between. and then you get the loan again for the rebuild. They get paid again for that. So they make money every opportunity they can. And you've got different arms of the financial system. So you've got the central banks, then you've got the World Bank, you've got the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and they all lend out money and then get the money paid back to them, where they profit massively. Yeah, it's all greed, control, and capitalisation and consolidation. Because every time there's a big event, they accumulate more assets, more power, more control. And people really need to start waking up. It's like all these young people, they get all uptight and they get upset when you mention immigration. You mention about there's only 2 genders. And it's like, it's just your life here, this is your future. So you might think you live in a utopia now, and you choose to ignore the facts, and you choose to ignore what's really happening in England or the UK, the West, in America, in Canada, Australia, France, Belgium, or Netherlands, and wherever, anywhere in the West. You can choose to ignore the facts. You can choose to ignore your future's being destroyed, your country's people are being replaced. And I'm not against immigration, but the amount of immigration is so out of control. It's like, even here in England, it's like, there's like places, you go to a small town and it's like, there's so many foreign people, and it's like, it's just unbelievable. You've got towns where the vast majority of people coming in are people from abroad, and it's like, it shouldn't be like that. It should be basically 5% or 10% maybe in some places, but not 50%, not bloody 30% and 60% of the population. Look at all the cities now, they're getting so dirty and crime ridden because of the mass illegal immigration and then all the dodgy immigration. Because it's amazing that you've got all these skilled people, but the people we get are people who overstay their student visas and they're still allowed to stay. And what benefit is it giving us? They're not doctors and nurses and high skilled people. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not against immigrants. I'd quite happily be married to a woman from, like from any country. I have friends from different countries, different nationalities. But what I'm saying is, it's like the amount of immigration is just out of control. It's like, we've got Turkish barbershops in every town, in every city, and it's like 5, 10 in some streets. It's like, it's just ridiculous. It can't carry on like this. And we're getting people from just a number of countries. It's like, why are we allocating so many visas to certain countries but not others? Like the Indian population, it's exploding. It's like, the students, why are we not getting students from other countries? Why is it all Indian and Nigerians and Pakistanis? There should be other people coming here as well. Why have we got more visas for people from Paraguay or Russia or more Mexicans? And we're just getting inundated with Indians and Nigerians in the care sector, and in the NHS we get loads of Indians. Like we get 10 Indians or 20 Indians, and then 1 woman, 2 women from the Philippines. It's like, you just can't accept one group of people or 2 groups of people just keep being allowed to immigrate here and not other people. And why are we not trying to keep people here by offering them more incentives to stay here? We've had 10,000 millionaires leave. We've had hundreds of billionaires move as well. They're leaving the UK, and loads left, a record amount left last year. So if this continues, it just means higher taxes. And then what are we getting in place of that? We're just getting low skilled workers. And that's why our cities are starting to look like shitholes. That's why loads of crime is going through the roof. That's why crime's getting worse. It's just a complete mess. It's like, if this doesn't stop, it just carries on as it is. It will no longer be in England as we know it. It will no longer be in Wales, and like even in Ireland, it's happening at a faster rate. A country of 5.3 million people, and they're getting 100,000 people immigrating there a year. It's like in the UK, it's one thing because we have like 68 million people. It's probably a lot more than that. It's probably over 70 million. Maybe it could be even like as high as 75 million. I don't know. So it's not as badly felt here, and there's quite a lot of towns and cities. But in Ireland, it's only like a handful of like bigger cities, and they're not even that big. Like Dublin is the biggest, and that's like 2 million, 2.5 million. It's like a Greater Manchester. But then you got a lot of small villages and towns, and villages is having these IPAC centres installed next to them, and then it's more illegal immigrants, mostly military-aged men, than there is actually local people. And that's the thing. Once all these countries natives become the minority, then where can they go? Because there's only one Ireland, there's only one England, there's only one Scotland, there's only one like Texas, or there's only one Sweden. Where can they go? Because once they lose their culture, their identity, where is their homeland? They're not going to have a homeland to go back to. And then everywhere else will start looking like shitholes already out there. There'll be even more shitholes. Because the West is purposely being brought down. This Kalergi plan was part of the reason for all the wars in the Middle East. They needed to destabilise the people of the Middle East to make them flood into the EU and flood into the UK. So basically it'd be easier to take over Western countries. And they want to sack America anyway, because they want the empire to come to an end. So America is basically New Rome, but the New Rome will be China soon. So it can never destroy America from outside, so they have to destroy it from inside. So they had all the fentanyl introduced and all the liberalised drug policies in the cities to make them crash. Break society, they destroy all these food companies to basically to make everything fall apart as well. And they don't invest in the infrastructure, they allow the infrastructure to fall apart, and it's basically collapsing. You seen that bridge, what was it, fall down? Was that bridge collapsed after it was hit by a ship? Seeing airplanes fall out of the sky. I mean, that's the DEI directive mostly, but yeah, it's all happening. It's basically taking America down one day at a time. And the same is happening in the UK. They're just basically destroying it, running it down to the ground. And so many people don't want to do anything about it. They just want to shut up, be quiet. But when it happens, and it'll be too late then. People ain't going to wake up then once everything has collapsed, and there'll be no going back. That'll be it. Yeah, leave that there. Oh yeah, and I wanted to touch on some positives as well. So if you do use BitChute, do the VPN, and yeah, remind you that you can still put content on there, so don't worry about not being able to do it. You don't need to do that with the VPN, by the way. You can still do it. You just need the VPN if you want to watch videos on it, because it's still not going to be you'll still not be able to watch it in the UK. I don't know about Gab, I guess that probably worked the same. I never used it. Oh yeah, and with Telegram, if you want to use Telegram, I don't know the ins and outs of this with the phone number, but basically what you could do, you could set it up with a phone number, then don't use that phone number again, and then if you do have any accounts, if you have it in a different number, then it wouldn't be linked to your Telegram, and I don't think they'd be able to track you where you are. So that's another idea. Yeah, because I've got accounts, I've a SIM card, I just bought a cheap SIM card and set it up, and I've never used it since then, and not had no issues. The only issue is if you delete the app and you want to get back into it, then you wouldn't be able to, because you haven't got the SIM card to get the text message number to basically log in again, so you'd be stuck there. But if you don't do that, you're fine. Or just set up another account with the same name, and then people will be able to trust you, and should be trustworthy to talk to your friends again, and just let them know you're going to do that. There's so many scammers on Telegram, as there is on most social media. Yeah, continue not to put all your information on Facebook and other sites, because the more stuff you put out there, the more they can use it against you, and with all these bloody laws they're bringing out, hate speech for stuff that isn't hate speech. And then you got all the online safety bill is basically trying to shut you up, because they don't like opposition. They just want to have their own way, so they can carry on doing what they're doing. So yeah, less information, less power to them. So screw them. Yeah, thank you for watching the video. Special thanks if you watched it all the way to the end. And just to let you know, I'm on BitChute, Rumble and Odyssey, so I'm going to put it on all three. If you're in the UK, don't forget, use the VPN to watch the BitChute channel. And yeah, at some point I want to put it on YouTube, but I'm not sure yet, because you have to watch what you say, and I don't want to censor myself too much, and then I don't want to put it on there and then get it taken down straight away. So yeah, I'm trying to think about how I'm going to do that. But yeah, thanks again, and yeah, keep doing what you need to do, and plan ahead. Make plans just in case, because the way things are going, I don't think change is coming, unless something remarkable happens, but I just can't see it at the moment. Loads of people leaving, loads of millionaires, billionaires, average people, poorer people even, just everyday people are leaving. They're going to various different places, but yeah, good for them. I mean, you can stay and fight, you can put up and shut up, it's up to you. You can move somewhere and basically be out of the matrix in part. It's hard to get fully out of it in the UK, because there's a town or city close by everywhere you live. Even if you live in a little village, there'll still be someone near you, like a couple of miles away. But yeah, just keep surviving, and see you next time. Thank you, take care, goodbye, bye for now.